this is Russ. Another box. What does that mean? That means another bike. Now I wanted to show you guys real quickly the condition of this box. Yeah, the box looks pretty damaged. It's been taped up like crazy. And I asked the FedEx driver, what about the damage? And he says, what damage? What damage? This is a bike from Engwe. Yeah, this is the EP2 Pro. So today is a very hot day. I'm just kind of giving you the overview here of the box. Today is a very hot day, and I'm gonna have to build this on the inside. I can't do this in the garage because it's gonna be in the mid 90s at least, maybe even the high 90s probably. So yeah, I will take it apart and put it together and show you what we have. Did you call that what damage? Obviously it was laid on its edge. Let's hope the bike came in okay. Alright, here's what the inside looks like. Yeah, so is there any damage? Doesn't look like any damage. The damage would be on this side here. You can see the whole box is kind of ripped to shreds here. That's where the front fork is. Seems okay, but we won't know until we put it together. Alright, let me put it together and I'll show you what the bike looks like. Hey, this is Russ. Yeah, this is a new bike. This is the Engwe EP2 Pro. Now this is not a new bike. This bike has been around, but it's new to me. Now this bike we've talked about before in the past. This is the bike that I've had for about 2 months now. I was just waiting for a front fork to be delivered to me. FedEx had damaged the fork. They did some major damage to the box. I'll show you photos of the box here. And so I contacted Engwe and I said, yeah, I can't do this review based on how the damage was done. So I kept the box as long as I could. Didn't know whether Engwe wanted to fight it with FedEx or whether they just wanted to send me another fork. And so they opted just to send me another fork. But the fork came from China, so it took a while to get here. It took 2 months before I got it. But yeah, it's here. This is a folding bike. Engwe has a upgraded 750 watt motor in there now. I believe at one time it was a 500 watt motor bike, 750, and they upgraded the battery from I think it was 12.7 amp hours. It's now like 13 amp hours. So yeah, they wanted me to wait for the new battery. But of course, at the same time, they gave me the new bike. So yeah, it was worth the wait. So I wanted to show you some features of the bike real quickly here. Now I added some things to the bike it doesn't come with. I added a rear view mirror. Okay, I think all bikes really should have a mirror, but I added this aftermarket. It's not from Engwe. And I added this. This is a thumb throttle that I had 3D printed. It's just a half twist throttle like many other bikes, but I'm used to using a thumb throttle, so I went ahead and added it so it made it easier for me to do the review. Okay, this is a folding bike, so this bike folds down pretty easily. And building it wasn't hard at all either. Give you the runs around. It does include the rear rack. It has a Shimano tourney derailleur, which is one of the more basic derailleurs, but it works. Okay, what I really like though is the wheels. Take a look at the wheels. Yeah, there's no spokes. This is all one piece aluminum wheel. Some people call it mag wheels, but it's not made out of magnesium, so aluminum wheels. Yeah, this is the folding mechanism here, and to fold the bike all you have to do is push this button to unlock it and pull, you see, and then this bike will fold in half. I'm trying to hold the camera and fold it at the same time. It's kind of hard, but this will bend in half. I'll show you a little later. Close it back up, pull this open again, Try to do this with one hand. This is not easy. Okay, let me see if I can do this with one hand here. There we go. So that'll lock it in place so it won't come off now. And as far as the top, same thing. You have a release right here. You push up, pull this down, and then this folds down. You see? All right, let me do a fold for you. Okay, I have folded the bike in half. I'm just holding it up. I'm on grass right now, so it's kind of hard to hold the camera and fold at the same time. But yeah, the bike folds down pretty well. There we go. Trying to be creative holding the camera and folding the bike. All right, let's put it back together. Okay, I have put it back together. Now it does have a front headlight. Let me power up. There's a button here to power it on. You'll see it kicks in. And if I push this bottom button, that'll turn on the front headlight. I don't know if you can tell, but it is lit up. And there is a rear tail light. Now I know it's very hard to tell in bright sunlight, but it is on. Let me see if I put my shadow there. Can you guys see that? And of course, if you hit the brakes, it will light up. What about the saddle? Well, the saddle is kind of typical. It's not the best saddle around, but it is comfortable. It's cushy. I think if the nose wasn't as long, it would be better. I think they make these too long for the nose. So if they had it a little bit shorter, I would like it better. Brakes are made by a company called Wuxing. Okay, never heard of it. But the brakes do stop the bike well, but right now it is still squealing a little bit. I think many brakes take a while before they finally kick in. The rotors are a little small. They're at 160 millimeter. Some of the bigger bikes have 180 millimeter. So they're mechanical disc brakes. Not the greatest, but they work. For the price, I don't think you can expect much more. The handlebar does go a lot higher if you want. There is a quick release over on this side. So if you release it, it goes way up there. I'm not kidding. I have it at the lowest setting. If you're a tall rider, this is the bike for you. Same thing here. I'm not going to adjust it here, but there's about 18 or so inches or more on this. I haven't measured it, but I believe it's close to about 18 inches. So if you need a higher saddle height, no problem. Overall, the bike looks nice. There are 3 different colors you can get. There's orange, there's gray, and then black, as I have here. I think the gray and the black would be my preference, but some people like orange. The rear rack does come with the bike. The fenders are metal fenders, and there is a front suspension. And like I said, the wheels do not have spokes. Yeah, it's all one-piece wheels. I love that. The branding on the fat tire bikes, these are 4-inch wide, 20-inch fat tires. It's made by Chow Yang. These are very aggressive treads on here. This is really knobby. Very, very knobby. It's going to last a while, I think. So overall, yeah, you can lock out the suspension. I like having it on. I like my suspension. I even left the key over here. Now, you do need to leave the key in. Let me turn off the bike here. The key is a 3-position key, all right? If you pull it all out, you can remove the battery. The first position locks, you can pull it out, locks the opening mechanism, so you cannot steal the battery out of the bike if you left the bike somewhere. And then the third position, the key does not come out, but that's the start position. So you do need to have the key in order to ride the bike. Now I just left the secondary key up here. I don't plan to leave the bike anywhere. But yeah, the key must be in, and if you take the key out, it locks this mechanism so nobody can steal the battery out of it when you're away. Overall, very nice design. Price-wise, we're talking $1,049. Yeah, it's a good price. And there's an option there where you can buy a secondary battery with the bike at the same time. It's $1,099. My recommendation, buy the second battery. Get the second battery. Don't even think twice about it. Buy the second battery. Batteries themselves aren't cheap. I think they sell their batteries separately for $299. So if you can get a second battery for $50 when you buy the bike, buy the second battery. Don't even look at this bike. Don't even look at this bike as $1,049. Look at it as a $1,099 bike that comes with a second battery. That's my opinion. Okay. All right, we're gonna take this bike out for a ride. We'll see how it does, and I'll give you my full report. Sit tight. So let's take the Engwe EP2 Pro out for a test ride. I've already ridden this bike about 8.8 miles already. So this is not my first ride on it. It's actually my second. So here's what I've noticed so far. The bike requires certain things to get used to. Now, you might know that I've had several e-bikes now, and I'm more used to the larger 26-inch wheel, 4-inch fat tire bikes. This is, of course, a lot smaller. It's a 20-inch wheel, 4-inch fat tire bike. All right, I think we're gonna have to go around this thing. That's been blocked off here for us. And here's what I've noticed. There's a 0 through 5 pedal assist level. If you put this down to 0, there's no assist, okay? Even your throttle will not work at 0. You move it up to 1, you have assist, but it is a very small amount of assist, okay? Same thing for 2. It's not until we hit pedal assist level 3 where I feel comfortable. So if you're looking for more range, more exercise, stay in 1 and 2. I mean, I'm talking really slow. But the minute you start going to 3, 4, and 5, you start picking up. This bike will go up to 28 miles an hour when you're on pedal assist level 5. So don't let it fool you when you start out with a small level of pedal assist, because it goes way up there. Now, I did add a few things to the bike. I added a rear view mirror. Okay, this is an aftermarket mirror. This is not sewed by Engwe. It's just one that I had, and I figured I'd add it to it. I feel that you really need a mirror on every bike that you have, so you can see what's going on behind you. Brakes are still trying to bed in, so we have a little bit of brake squeal going on, but that will eventually go away. I think most bikes that I've had a little bit of squeal to start, eventually to go away. Now, one other thing that I added too is I've added a thumb throttle to this. This is a half twist throttle that comes on the bike. But this thumb throttle I added to it because this is how I'm used to riding my bikes. I'm more used to having a thumb throttle, and I felt that if I had to evaluate this bike strictly on the half twist throttle, which is what many people use, but I'm not used to it, it's gonna throw my feel off. I'm used to using that thumb throttle to help me make that twist. So this one is a 3D printed thumb throttle. If you want one of those things, I'll put a link in the description. It's a 3D printable file that you can use. I happen to bring it to my local library, who does free 3D printing for you. All they do is they charge you for the plastics that you use. So the thumb throttle cost me 50 cents in plastic, and of course you have to buy a screw and a nut to go along with it. So you can get those at Home Depot or Menards or one of the hardware stores. So those are the only two things that I added to the bike. Everything else is stock on this bike. The bell doesn't ring out, but it's loud. Yeah, you can hear it. Other bells I've had, you hear that bell ring for a while, but yeah, if you hit the bell, people can hear it. Another interesting thing that I found too is that this bike does have cruise control. Now, I've talked about cruise control on several of my other videos in the past, saying that it would be nice if a bike had cruise control. Well, this one has it. All you need to do is put the bike on your throttle, use your throttle, and then hold that throttle down for 8 seconds or more. Once you do that, it'll go into cruise control. Now, to turn off the cruise control, just touch your brakes. It's kind of like your car, right? If you have cruise control on your car, tapping your brakes will stop the cruise control. So I'm running on cruise control right now. I just held this thing down for 8 seconds, and you'll see that at pedal assist level 3, I'm about 14.5 miles per hour. The difference that I find, let me cancel cruise control, we're going to go through here. The difference that I find with this bike on the throttle is that the throttle will only go to the maximum level of your pedal assist. So on other bikes, if I had even the pedal assist at level 1, and I use the throttle, I have 100% full control of throttle to go as fast as I want to go. That's not the case with the Engwe. If you're set for level 1, your throttle will only go to level 1. If you're set at level 2, your throttle's maximum speed will only go to the maximum speed of level 2. Does that make sense? Level 3, maximum throttle only goes to the full maximum level of level 3 throttle and speed. So if you want full power throttle, put it on level 5, then you have full control from 0 through 28 miles per hour. And again, like I said, if you hold that down all the way down, like I'm just going to do that right now. I'm just going to hold the throttle down for at least 8 seconds. And again, on level 3, our speed is still limited. If I let go now, I am running on cruise control at this point. I'm not pedaling, I'm not doing anything. The bike is running on its own, okay? And to cancel it, all I have to do is tap on the brakes, okay? On your left. All right. Dogs are always trying to get me. I've said that on many videos. Dogs see you, they always have to bark at you. So what have I noticed that's different on this bike compared to some of my other bikes? Well, this is a smaller stature bike. It's 20 inches in wheel. The size of the bike is smaller. Even the width of the handlebars is narrower, okay? It's taking me a little bit of time to get used to that because, again, I'm used to the larger bikes. So your real estate on your handlebar is kind of small. You don't have a whole lot of room to put anything on there. If you want to put something like a cell phone mount or something, I would recommend that you get an extension handlebar extender. Typically that'll just attach to your handlebars here, and then that'll give you an extra bar. And from that point, you can add on additional things like external lights and the like. Speaking of lights, I will say that the headlight and tail light on this bike is a lot brighter than many of the bikes that come with headlights and tail lights. All right, I think we're gonna have to make a pass here. On your left. All right, I had to make my pass there. He was going a little bit slower than I'm used to. So I put myself on pedal assist level 5, went up on the grass and went. Now, the nice part is that the tires on the Engwe is really knobby. And what I mean by that is that if you plan to put this off-road a little bit, go up on grass or something, you're going to have some good grip. These are the knobbiest tires I've had on any bike that I've owned. It has the typical whine that you will hear when knobby tires are on pavement. I'm actually okay with that. Some people aren't. Kind of announces that you're coming. I mean, if you want a stealthier sounding bike, then of course you could always change out the tires to something that's more street styled versus these knobby type tires. But I like the knobby tires. I like to be able to go up on the grass if I have to, or you know, do something a little bit more if I have to. So how's the feel of the bike? Well, I'll tell you that I have the seat lowered a little bit lower than I typically do on my larger bikes. So my full leg extension is not quite there. I could go it higher. The seat post that they give you is extremely big. I wouldn't doubt that thing is, maybe 18 inches long. Yeah, if you're a tall rider, you can ride this bike. And the stem, there's a section here that allows you to raise the stem even taller. I have it at the lowest setting right now, which is fine for me. But again, if you're a tall rider, you can raise it. I will say this. People have said that sometimes I go a little fast on these trails and bike paths, but if I leave it at pedal assist level 3, it's going to limit how fast I can go. And I've noticed that I can go a lot slower on this bike than on my other bikes. I don't feel like I'm going to tip over as much as I do on the larger bikes. Now you might know that I had to wait quite a while to get a front fork replacement for this bike. FedEx had damaged the bike when they shipped it to me, and it took about 2 months for me to actually get this front fork. They had to ship it from China to get it to me. Installation of the front fork was relatively easy. We're going to go up this hill here. This is the hill that I usually have a hard time with. I'm going to put it on full pedal assist level 5. Okay. And we're going to go up this hill. We'll talk more in a second about it. So I'm doing about 18.5 miles. I want to see if I have the torque to get up over this hill. And I am pedaling 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 11. So it looks like we've dropped down to around a 10 mile per hour range to go up this hill. Believe it or not, that's actually pretty good. Even my best bikes with a large amount of torque, I'm talking a large cruiser style bike with a lot of torque, I'd start out at 20 miles an hour and I'd drop down to about 12. Yeah. Some bikes as best as 14. So this smaller bike, to be able to do 9.5 to 10 is actually not bad. I had really thought that this bike would fail that test, to tell you the truth. That's the first time I've ever gone over it with this bike. No, it did pretty well. I'm surprised. Yeah, it did pretty well. Now, why did I agree to take this bike? Let me tell you a little history behind this whole thing with Engwe and me. Engwe was one of the first companies to contact me asking if I was interested in reviewing one of their bikes. One other company contacted me way back then too, and you all know who that is. So I said, I'm only going to do bikes that I think have some type of possibility. I'm not going to review bikes that I feel absolutely has no chance of success. And so I looked at this bike and it says, well, it's an inexpensive bike. It's about $1,049, something like that. If you get the two battery option, it's like $1,099, I believe, something like that. Get the 2 battery option. Believe me, you're going to want that second battery, and for $50 more only, it's worth it. Okay, we're not going to go through here because we are blocked off. All right, we'll go back. That's too bad. I was hoping to take that to the 3-mile path I normally do. I'm just hopping around here. Okay, let's get back on. yeah, they've got some type of road construction thing, or they're working on trees and the like. So we'll head back. So they contacted me a long time ago, and then I said, well, you know, they're one of the first companies offering me a bike to review. Let's do it, because it's an inexpensive bike. I wanted to find out how good can this bike really be for that price. But then time went by, I hadn't heard anything, and they told me that they were upgrading the bike and upgrading the battery, okay? So apparently this bike at one time was a 500 watt motor in here. It's now a 750 watt motor. So they wanted me to wait a little bit. They wanted me to get the new 750 watt motor bike. I'm running on cruise control, by the way. I'm pedaling a little bit now, but and they told me that they were upgrading the battery. The battery, I think, was something like 12.7 amp hour, something like that. They were just going to go to a 13 amp hour battery, a small upgrade, but they said, yeah, you might as well get the latest, which I appreciated. You know, I wouldn't want to get the older series bike and then, you know, a battery. I mean, 12.7 versus 13 is really negligible in my opinion. But yeah, why not? I said, sure, okay, we'll wait. Well, that wait turned longer and longer and longer. And here it is, August now, I'm finally doing the review on this bike. So, yeah, we've had a long waiting time period with Engwe. I was beginning to wonder if I would ever be able to do the review of this bike. Yeah, I'm still bedding in this bike. You can hear it squealing, but again, I have no doubt that in time that will sound better. You won't hear it. But the brakes are still relatively new. I'm braking right now, and you can hear it's pretty much just gone at this point. All brakes usually take a little bit of time. Yeah, it's pretty much gone at this point. It takes a little time. You have to do bedding of brakes. If you don't know what that means, it's like you go to a certain speed, then you hit the brakes. All right, and then you do it again, and you do it again. You kind of keep doing that for, I don't know, 15 times or so. And you'll find that the brakes will stop squealing. It's just the way it is on rotors and new brake material. And sometimes different brake material makes a difference too. You know, if you try a different brake pad, sometimes that's improving it. So yeah, we have a long history of time, but no review of the bike until now. Now, this bike, like I said, has been sitting in my office for 2 months waiting for this front fork to show up after FedEx damaged it. It was just like one thing after the next that kept pushing us further back to doing this review. And people have been asking me, you need to get a folding bike. You got to get a folding bike so you can go to different places. Well, I had a folding bike, I just couldn't use it. we can thank FedEx for that, for damaging the bike. And but now we do have a folding bike, and maybe we can go different places. So far, how do I feel the ride is? Well, I will tell you, small little movements like this. You see how I'm moving the handlebar a little bit. Small little movement is a big movement on this type of bike. Whereas the larger 26-inch wheel, big cruiser bikes, you know, if I move a little bit, it barely moves. This every little bit of movement is exaggerated. So I have to get used to the fact that I could probably make faster U-turns and things like that on this bike that I could never do on the other bikes. The other bikes I'd fall over. I think I can do it on this bike because it's got a more responsive type of ride. There is a front shock on here, so you have a suspension system. It's a minimal amount of suspension, but there is still a suspension. I do feel it does help when I hit bumps, but not as deep as the larger bikes, of course, but still at this price, that's not bad to have a suspension on there. Now, if you notice too, I've kept this bike at pedal assist level 3. I haven't moved much away from it. I'm going a lot slower. Now, that's a unique thing for me. I don't usually go this speed. I usually go faster because the faster I go, I feel more stable on the larger bikes. Not so on the smaller bike. Yeah. So it seems that this bike will probably slow me down. It'll get me to probably ride a little bit slower, better for the trails. Yeah. Now theoretically, this bike is a class 3 bike because it is able to go to 28 miles per hour. And yeah, we should do that for you. Let's take it out on the street. Let's do 28 miles an hour for you. Okay, we're gonna go up an incline here. So I'm gonna pedal. I'm still on pedal assist level 3. I can feel the resistance. Good morning. But I'm able to go up it with no problem. I'm going slower than I normally do, but I'm still stable. I'm kind of surprised. All right, let's take the street. Let's stop here for a second. We'll let the cars go through. All right, well, Mayor and I won't take the street here. The truck driver wanted me to go through, so I obliged and took it and went through. Yeah, I'm not gonna go 28 miles an hour on the path. We have to do it on the street. We'll find another street we can do it on. I will say I do like the cruise control. All right, so I'm just gonna hold it down for 8 seconds or more. Let go, I'm now on cruise control. I mean, if you're tired out and you don't want to pedal, cruise control, yeah. And your fingers aren't going to be tired out by having to hold down the throttle. Now, people have said if you're using cruise control, you're not really riding this like a bike. Well, that's true. But there are times the cruise control does help. Okay. Now we're going up a little bit of incline, and I can see that the speedometer is dropped a little bit. It'll come back up again. I'm going to cancel that cruise control. Let's move ourselves to pedal assist level 4. I'll pass this gentleman here. Alright, now you can see right away we can increase the speed dramatically on pedal assist level 4. I can feel it kick in. Now, the assist does not happen right away. There is a little delay before you actually feel the assist happening. Couple second delay, and then you'll feel that the motor will kick in. I kind of like that. I'm used to that. My original bike that I had at first was that way. I took my other bikes and I turned it that way as well. I'm just used to having that slight delay. I don't like the instantaneous assist. Let's take a left over here. I don't like the instantaneous assist because it feels like it'll jolt you off the bike if you get that. I like knowing that it's coming up without having to go full blast right away. So I've held down the cruise control by holding this down for 8 seconds. I'm now running on cruise control. We're doing 18.5 miles an hour roughly. So yeah, the ride is very good for a bike that's $1,050 or almost $1,100. What is it? $10.99, $10.95? I'm not sure. If you buy it with a second battery, I'm telling you, get the second battery for $50. It's worth it. These batteries usually will cost several $100s to get. For them to offer a $50 option. It's worth the $50 option. Now, Engwe is sending me a second battery. I did request it. They originally only sent me one with one battery, but I said, you know, I go some distance with my bikes. I'm going to need that second battery to be able to do the things that I do. And they agreed, and they said they would send me a second battery. Now, the battery can charge separately. You can take the battery out of the frame, or you can just put it through the little hole that's in the frame and charge it with the battery in the bike. I tend to do that. I don't want to keep opening and closing the frame of the bike, and so it's easier for me to do that. And of course, if you have to change a battery out, then of course you have to open the frame in order to put the second battery in there. And all I do is I just keep the second battery on the rear rack. I just use a bungee cord and put a bungee cord in the back, and that'll be fine. All right, let's go over here. Yeah, brakes are still squeaking a little bit. It's not bad. I had other bikes before that would squeal like you wouldn't believe. And then it got better, okay? After changing out brake pads or whatever, it got better. This one just needs a little time. But I wanted to get it out here as fast as I can to give it a test. All right, let's go on the streets here. All right, we're gonna go to full pedal assist level 5, and then I'm gonna throttle it and put it on cruise control so you can see what the bike is capable of doing. All right. So I'm gonna hold it down for 8 seconds or more. I guess I didn't hit 8 seconds yet. Let's hold it down a little longer. All right, so we're on cruise control right now. We are going up a slight incline. I wish I had a straightaway to show you. We can see that my battery meter has dropped 1 level already. Yeah, I'm gonna cancel this. We're going up an incline. We need to do this on a flat level street. I'll go down to level 4. If you want to save your battery, drop down your pedal assist level. If you want to really save it, don't use the throttle. Doing about 19 miles an hour here. Now the display is a basic display. Standard LED, but I'll tell you, it's easy to read. And it tells you a lot of information here. You got the speedometer here, you got your battery meter here. This is your pedal assist level. Down here is your odometer. So I've gone, 16 miles on this bike now. If you toggle through the menu thing, you have my fastest speed was 23.3 miles per hour. My average speed was 13.9. And I've gone 16 miles now on the bike. There's also a trip meter, of course. So it says 16.0 miles. Yeah, this was not a good street to try the full speed, because we're definitely going up an incline. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but this street is definitely an incline. So right now I'm on cruise control for level 4. Let's move to level 5. All right, we got a stop sign here, so we'll have to stop. Let's go ahead and make this stop here. All right, let's see if we can get this bike going here before we hit the next stop sign. I'm just gonna hold the throttle down. I'm not gonna go to cruise control. Let's just let it run. So we're doing 24, 25, 26. We're topping out at 26 and a half, 27. 27.2. And that's on the throttle. Now, you might know that Pure Class 3 essentially says that is assisted pedal to 28. This bike, like my other bike, will give you full assist with the throttle. All right, I'm finding more and more bikes are like that, even though legally Class 3 bikes should be pedal assist only up to 28. We're finding the throttle can do it. So yeah, this bike is fast. It is definitely fast. So let's recap the good and bad. All right, the good is price-wise, it's really hard to beat. You're talking $1,050, 2 battery option. Was it just $11.99? Let's use the actual numbers. It's $11.49. Sorry, $1,049 and $1,099. Okay, spend the $50. Get the second battery. You're not going to regret it. All right, just spend the extra $50. Look at this bike as really $1,099. As long as they have that promotion, do it. Okay, I'm going to say do it. So who's it for? It's for somebody who's maybe an entry level. This is their first bike. Maybe you need a folding bike to put it in an RV or the back of your vehicle. You have an SUV. You want to throw it in the back of the SUV. Travel without having to buy a bike rack. Yeah, and maybe for a person who doesn't really have extremely long distances of requirements of distance. See, we're down to three out of the 5 bars now, and we started out at about 8 miles. We're at 17 miles right now. This is kind of a combination. I'm testing both things. So obviously, since I'm using the throttle pretty heavily and I'm using heavy pedal assist, our battery range is going to drop. We'll do like I said, we'll do a second video where I'll do an actual battery range test of just pedal assist only. And I think what I'll do is I'll do it on pedal assist level 3 for the entire time. I think that's really, it's probably the range that most people will use as a bare minimum. 1 and 2 is really kind of slow. 3 is where you want to be. 4 is where you want to be. 5 is where you want to be if you want to be crazy like me and go really fast. All right. But look, even at 4, you're close to 19 miles an hour already. So if we were down to 3, you can see we're dropping now. And I'm just pedaling. I'm not using a throttle. We're gonna get about 15, 16 miles an hour. We'll do a pedal assist level 3 at that level, and we'll do a second video. So yeah, if you don't need lots of range, this bike might be good for you. If you have the second battery, it's gonna double your range, obviously. So to me, that's really the way to go with this type of bike. And they're not unique. Other bikes are similar in the sense that, you know, when you have an integrated battery like this for this style of bike, you know, they can only make the batteries so big. So yeah, get a second battery. So what's the downfall of the bike? Well, like we said, the battery range is not the greatest. It's adequate, but you know, like I said, if you're gonna do like me, where I'm doing 60-mile bike trips, this is not the bike for you, right? If you're doing local around town, that is perfectly fine. If you're doing trips to the grocery store and whatever, yeah, it's perfectly fine. Let's move up to level 4 here. Get a little bit more speed on there. Like I said, the handlebar width is very narrow. Some people will like that. For me, I'm used to the slightly wider. The bike, they say it's over 80 pounds. I don't know how they get that figure. To me, it feels lighter than my other bikes. I can lift it and move it around pretty easy. But says the net weight was over 80 something pounds. You can look on the website to check it out. But it's easy to move around. Folding is very simple to do. Building it was actually relatively simple to do. You do have to put the stem on, the stem that's over here. That's just one screw, essentially. You don't have to do what I did. I had to, these are new stripings. I'm not going to run over the striping. Let me go along the edges here. I'm trying to avoid street markings. You won't have to build out like I did. This is new too, but they've taken it off. I guess this whole area has just been restriped. You won't have to build out like I do and put a new fork on. But I will tell you, even putting the fork on was pretty easy to do. So what's my conclusion? I like it. I didn't think I would like this bike as much as I do, but I actually like it. Yeah, it's a good bike for the price, I think. It's a little bit shy in the battery range for distance. But yeah, it rides very well. I'm surprised. I was fully in thinking that I was not going to like this bike because I'm so used to the bigger bikes, but no, it's actually pretty nice. Now, there are other bikes of this style, as you know, and people are always going to ask, how's this compared to this and compared to that? I don't have anything to compare it against. I don't have the other brands. I can't tell you. All right, but what I can tell you right now is that it rides well. It's responsive enough. The speed is there if I need the speed. I love the cruise control. It's got a delayed reaction. Like I said, if I put it on cruise control, if I hold it down for 8 seconds, it'll go. But you know, if I'm just pedaling and I want to get the motor to help me, there's a slight delay, which I actually like. So you're not going to be jolted off this bike by accident. I mean, you're going to feel it come up, and you're going to know it at that time. So recommendation, yeah, I would say I would recommend this bike. I would recommend it for someone who has specific requirements that they don't want to. They don't need to go really far. They need a more compact bike. They need a bike that's priced right. Let's take a ride over here. I mean, you're talking a bike that with a second battery is only $1,099. From the website, it does show that it's got free shipping, and I think they include the sales tax too, if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of hard to beat. Is it for me? Yeah, I think so. I think I would like this bike if I'm going to take it someplace that I don't have to worry about my real expensive bikes, and that I can stick it inside a vehicle to transport it rather than having to get a rear rack for my car. I mean, putting a hitch on the back of your car and buying a rack, that could add up to easily $800-900 or more. You know, by the time you pay for the installation of a hitch on the back of your car, you know, and then and buying one of these bike racks that'll hold the weight of an e-bike. You know, many of those things are $500 or more. So yeah, sticking it in your car, a lot easier. I haven't done it yet. I expect I probably will if I find some places I'd like to go. So yeah, it gets my recommendations. The only drawback I see, like I said, is battery. It doesn't have the range that I would like, but you have to kind of look at it as what it is. It is not a bike that's designed for that purpose, for long distance of riding. Those bikes, yeah, you're probably better off looking for something else. But if you're looking for portability, you're looking for price, you're looking for speed, this bike has it. Yeah, I'm very impressed. Thank you, Engwe, for giving me the opportunity. All right, this car is going to let me go, so I'm going to go. Yeah, it was a long ride, Engwe. It took us forever to get this review out. Wasn't your fault. It wasn't our fault either. It was just the luck of the draw. You know, we were in the ends of a product timing where you've upgraded your bike, you've upgraded the battery. We were waiting for that, and then FedEx went and messed us up by damaging the bike. All right, that's about all I have for this review. I appreciate you all watching the review, and you know, if you need a bike like this, go ahead and contact Engwe. I'll put a link in the description below so you can get there and get yourself a bike if you're interested in something that's small, lightweight, and easy to transport. I'll talk to you guys next time.